Hello and welcome. This is Michael Bartlett with NCGR Conference 2019. I am interviewing Christeen Skinner today, who will be speaking. She's a fellow board member with NCGR. She's going to be speaking on navigating the financial universe. Welcome, Christeen.
Hello.
What does one need to know beforehand before coming to your class?
Well, look, I'm really quite excited about doing this because instead of just doing a lecture where you're just spouting forth for an hour, this is really a shared experience, right? We're going to be together for a few hours. And it's going to be really super helpful if, for a start, people bring a copy of their own chart with them, right? Now, I'm not going to lay down the rules and say it's got to be equal house or upside down or Vedic or whatever you are comfortable with. But please, if you've got a copy of your chart with you, that's going to be super helpful. I am then going to give you a list of the key dates and the planetary lineups really over the next 8 years. And what we're going to be doing is to see how those patterns in the sky affect your chart and how maybe you could use them, not to necessarily attract wealth, right? But maybe to stop worry. Because one of the big things, I'm known now as being a financial astrologer, right? I don't know that I necessarily am. That's how my day is spent. And I understand really that when somebody is in acute financial distress, which of course happens to all of us at some point, right? It's part of a rhythm, right? It will change. It always changes, right? And I think the art with astrology is looking to see where those moments are coming and being prepared for them. So if you come with your chart and I come with the key dates together, right, we're going to try and work out how you can ride or navigate what I'm calling the financial universe.
How exciting, because finances are like one of those top stressors in people's lives, and how wonderful to be to have some sort of a roadmap about what one can expect, or at least how one can be in a relationship to it while you're going through it.
I think, honestly, working with clients, once they actually see where the waves are, right, and they see particularly that they've written them before, right, if you go back and you can show somebody, look, that's what was happening then, right? The cosmos never does an exact replay. It's not a Broadway show, right? It will do a variation on the theme, right? But we know when they're coming. So if you know when they're coming and you've got some reasonable risk assessment, and of course we look at the very basic things of where your moon is and how you spend money, all of that stuff, right? We can actually leave you so that when you walk out of the door after this event, what I want you to do is to walk out feeling more confident, not afraid of the future, right? Because that's silly, right? We've got to get through this. The changes, the planetary lineups, I mean, we're all talking about next year's, the big Saturn Pluto, but there's much bigger waves coming in after that, right? The huge one in 2026 that we absolutely need to be focused on and be prepared for. And between 2020 and 2026, you have a whole set of slower moving planets, all changing signs. And we know that what that does is it changes like the financial current, right? And yes, we can see it now. We're moving into a digital age. We're getting rid of checkbooks. We're doing this, we're doing that. This whole workshop will leave you hopefully much better prepared.
That sounds really exciting, Christeen. And what should people expect, and how can they prepare for your class?
Well, it really would help if, not that I need to see it, right? Because this is private, right? Your chart is actually private. You should always think of twice before you show it to anybody. So bring your chart with you. And if you can be open about bits of that, that would be really helpful. But also, and you don't need to bring it into the room, but go through your head as to what your assets and liabilities are, right? Don't be afraid of that, right? It's a really constructive exercise that anybody should do once a year, the same way that you go and have a dental check once a year. Giving yourself a financial makeover it should also happen. It's a quick check. So if you've got that in mind as well, that would be good. And then do something really exciting between now and the workshop, right? Start looking around to see where you think there's a trend, right? Where you think you might get in on the bottom of the curve. Doesn't matter if it's electric skateboards or some artificial intelligence thing. Doesn't matter what it is. See what captures your attention And then from that, we'll see, is that thing likely to grow? And how could we find out the best companies doing it?
That sounds exciting, Christine. And just to wrap it all up, and you kind of touched on it here and there, but what will one gain from attending your class?
I hope you're going to leave feeling, instead of panicked, because I'm honestly not being critical of this, but I think as astrologers, we've become extremely good at looking at what are the negatives, right? You look at Saturn, Pluto, and oh dear, and it's all panic, right? I would really like you to leave feeling confident that you can navigate through these financial waters. I would like you to feel emboldened and also excited, because it is exciting. Finance is creative, right? It's a wonderful world. And it's not just about making money. It really isn't, right? You're watching a flow of energy. And what you're trying to do is to make that flow an enjoyable ride.
That sounds really wonderful, Christine. It seems like a really wonderful grounding process for people to have and to learn and to be in relationship with it in a way that's healthy. So it actually helps alleviate the fear, because as we step into places that are so unknown, that's where the fear builds up. And we live in a society that is built on fear. So how wonderful. Thank you for bringing tools to people to help them understand.
Well, that's the aim. That's the aim. Let's see now if I can do it, right? But I am on a Jupiter curve, so hopefully I can.
Sounds great. Well, thank you for your talk today, and we'll look forward to seeing you in Baltimore for Labor Day weekend. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you.